In 1948, Frank Wisner was appointed director of the Espionage and Counterintelligence Branch of the Central Intelligence Agency, later called the Office of Policy Coordination, OPC. Wisner established Mockingbird, a program to influence the domestic and foreign media. Wisner recruited Philip Graham from the Washington Post to run the project within the industry. Media assets will eventually include ABC, NBC, CBS, Time, Newsweek, Associated Press, United Press International, Reuters, etc. and 400 journalists, who have secretly carried out assignments according to documents on file at CIA headquarters. The CIA had infiltrated the nation's businesses, media, and universities with tens of thousands of on-call operatives by the 1950s. Wisner was also able to restrict newspapers from reporting about certain events. For example, the CIA plots to overthrow the governments of Iran and Guatemala. According to a Congress report published in 1976, the CIA currently maintains a network of several hundred foreign individuals around the world who provide intelligence for the CIA, and at times attempt to influence opinion through the use of covert propaganda. These individuals provide the CIA with direct access to a large number of newspapers and periodicals, scores of press services and news agencies, radio and television stations, commercial book publishers, and other foreign media outlets. In February 1976, George H.W. Bush, the recently appointed director of the CIA, announced a new policy. Effective immediately, the CIA will not enter into any paid or contract relationship with any full-time or part-time news correspondent accredited by any U.S. news service, newspaper, periodical, radio or television network or station. However, he added that the CIA would continue to welcome the voluntary and paid cooperation of journalists. Ralph McGahee was a CIA agent for 25 years, mainly in Southeast Asia, where he witnessed bombing and napalming of villages, which caused him to examine closely what the CIA was really all about. He concluded that the CIA is not now, nor has it ever been, a central intelligence agency, but rather the covert action arm of the president's foreign policy advisors, of which disinformation is a large part of its responsibility, and the American people are the primary target of its lies. A global commercial media system dominated by a small number of superpowerful, mostly US-based transnational media corporations now haunts the world. It is a system that works to advance the cause of the global market and promote commercial values. Major networks are primarily controlled by giant corporations that are obligated by law to put the profits of their investors ahead of all other considerations, which are often in conflict with the practice of responsible journalism. The corporations are becoming larger and fewer in number, as the biggest ones absorb their rivals. This concentration of ownership and power reduces the diversity of media voices, as news falls into the hands of large conglomerates with holdings in many industries that interferes in news gathering because of conflicts of interest. Media corporations share members of the board of directors with a variety of other large corporations, including banks, investment companies, oil companies, healthcare, pharmaceutical, and technology companies. George W. Bush's communications advisors devised a strategy after 9/11 to encourage supportive news coverage of the fight against terrorism. The idea, they explained to reporters at the time, was to counter charges of American imperialism by generating accounts that emphasized American efforts to liberate and rebuild Afghanistan and Iraq. An important instrument of this strategy was the Office of Broadcasting Services. In early 2002, the unit began producing narrated feature reports, promoting American achievements in Afghanistan and Iraq and reinforcing the administration's rationales for the invasions. These reports were then widely distributed in the United States and around the world. Columnists has written in support of administration policies without disclosing that they had accepted payments from the government. Some reports were produced to support the administration's most cherished policy objectives, like regime change in Iraq, or Medicare reform. More than 20 federal agencies have made and distributed fake video news reports, called VNRs. A VNR, video news release, is a video segment created by a corporation or government agency and provided to television news stations for the purpose of shaping public opinion, or to promote and publicize commercial products or other interests. Federal agencies appear to be producing more releases, and on a broader array of topics. 90% of TV newsrooms now rely on fake video news releases. Government-produced reports disappear into a maze of satellite transmissions, web portals, syndicated news programs and network feeds, only to emerge on the other side, disguised as genuine journalism. People thought that the rise of the internet would eliminate the monopoly power of the global media giants. But the largest media, telecommunication and computer firms have done everything within their immense powers to colonize the internet, or at least neutralize its threat.